Alright, in this video I am going to show you a little bit more about making a working drawing that has a lot of different pieces and different sheets within it. So to create a working drawing, we normally will go up to where it says design. You can go over to drawing from design. When you have a design that has multiple components in it, so for our chessboard, for example, we have the drawer that is its own component here. I've also inserted multiple components. The rook and the pawn are also imported in here. So I have a couple different components in here. It actually makes making the working drawing a lot easier. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start by adding the full assembly in. So that's going to be this piece up here. Notice all of these pieces are components or sketches or bodies or joints. They're all located underneath this component right here. So I'm going to right click on that and I'm just going to say I want to create a drawing with all of these things. Okay, so I'm going to manually make it and I'm going to create a new drawing from sketch, and I'm going to actually make it so it's the full assembly. Okay, so when I hit OK, it's going to pop me into the drawing file. Okay, and we can go ahead and start making that drawing just like you normally would. Now I'm not going to do too many details here just so we can get like the concept down, but when I'm placing my views, you're going to be doing all of those things similar to what you've already been doing. Okay, so I can go ahead and project these different views. Alright, so it might look something like that. You obviously can rearrange things, and then you can go from there and add in all the different things that you need to do, right? So your dimensions and shaded and all those things. Now, when you are in here, what you're going to notice is it's including all of the components here. Okay, so one of the things that I need to do, especially with the chessboard, is I want to actually have that drawer separate from the rest of the board. Okay, the other thing is on this sheet in particular, I'm going to not need all my pieces because I want to focus on just the board itself. So here I can hide the things that I don't need, right? So if I don't need the rook, right, for example, if I click on that, notice it's going to get rid of that. Okay, I don't want the drawer connected, so I can either hide it or just get rid of it altogether. And then the other chess piece, that pawn, I'm going to get rid of as well. So now I'm left with just the board. But I also, on this, because I find that having the drawer on this sheet is important, maybe I can add the drawer over here. I can actually still add that drawer in separately. Okay, and so the way you can do that, it's this component here. If I go back into my actual design, I can right click on component 2 and I can say I want to create a drawing of that actual drawer. So when I do that, notice the component is selected, so I only want the contents that are selected. And then instead of drawing in a new sheet, I'm going to click on that and I want to put that into my untitled drawing that I've already started. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. Now the other thing here is it's going to say what sheet do you want to put that in. We're not going to create a new sheet for it because I want to add it to the sheet that I've created. So if I go in there, sheet 1 is what I already have. And then I can go ahead and hit OK. So what that's going to do is allow me to bring just the drawer in. Maybe I want a top view of this. Okay, so here's my drawer, and then I'm going to have it with hidden edges and visible, and then I can put the drawer right here, maybe, hit OK, and now I can dimension this drawer and show that, hey, this drawer actually does exist as well. It's a separate component, a piece altogether, and then it's also removed from the actual piece. If you want that component in there still, you can always reactivate that, and then now the drawer's in there and you can have the drawer here as well. So you can kind of play around with how do you want it to look for your working drawing, what is it that you're trying to show, and then you can kind of adjust it accordingly. Okay. Now the other nice thing about having this as the assembly, right, is now I want to have different sheets for all the different pieces. So maybe I'll have a sheet for the king, a sheet for the queen, etc. So if I go back into here, just like we did before, I can now right click, let's say I want the rook, I can right click on this, I can create a drawing, and then from here I'm not creating a new drawing, I'm going back to that working drawing that I've already started, but this time I'm going to actually create a new sheet. Okay, and so when I hit OK, now I can go ahead and put that on sheet number 2, and I'm going to follow the same process that you normally would, where I'm creating my different views, and then I can dimension it, and then I can do my shaded and all that stuff, and then I'm just working through this. So if I do it this way, I still have sheet 1 that has my board. I have sheet 2 is now my my first piece, and then I'm going to keep following that process until I have multiple sheets down here that have all my pieces. I can render this view instead of having the isometric view, and then if I want to render the whole thing, so let's say for my first page I want the whole assembled board as a rendered view, I can go into my render, okay. I can save that image, and in this case I'm going to go ahead and save it to my H drive here, so it's on my computer, and I've already done this, so I'm just going to override that. Okay. Now when I go into here, what I can do is I can just add my own sheet, and I can insert that image. And so when I insert that image from my computer here, I have that chessboard. Okay. I can place the image down here, and then I can end up playing around with like the size. So maybe that's a good size. I'm going to want to center it a little bit, so then you can play with those type of things. Let's see, minus maybe 3. Yeah, that's kind of good. Or maybe minus 1 here. That might be a little bit too much. Yep. And then I can just play around with that. Once I get it where I want it, I can hit OK, and so now I have a nice rendered view. I can change my title block, and now notice though that's page 3, so all I got to do is drag that over. So it's page 1. This could be like my title page with my fully rendered assembly, and then I can get into the specific pieces, or the board, and then the pieces on the board as I go through that. And so then when I'm done, all I have to do is export that as a PDF, and I'm done.